Texas facing legal action over a newly installed floating border barrier.
Yeah, so these floating buoys span a 1,000 feet long section of the Rio Grande River. Right now, as we speak, they're about 4 feet each. They prevent migrants from crossing into the United States, but the Department of Justice says the barriers are a humanitarian concern. And Texas violated federal law by not getting proper approval before installing them in the first place. Our Jorge Ventura has covered the border extensively for NewsNation and is with us now. Jorge, Texas has a deadline of this afternoon to remove the barrier and avoid legal action. What are we expecting the response from Texas to be?
Yeah, good morning, Marky. So we are expecting Texas to double down on that floating barrier device. I've been speaking with sources inside the Texas Department of Public Safety all morning who all tell me that they have not received an order from Governor Abbott to remove that floating barrier. And that reason why that is important is because Texas DPS is in charge of that floating barrier across the Rio Grande. So as of right now, they say they expect this to go to court. Texas Governor Greg Abbott also doubling down over the weekend, putting out a statement saying, "We will see you in court, Mr. President." The argument that Texas is going to make when this goes to court is that the federal government has failed to secure the southern border and to deal with the immigration issue, essentially forcing the state of Texas to provide its own resources to secure the border. Back in 2021, launching that Operation Lone Star, sending thousands of state troopers and also National Guardsmen down to the border to deal with that large influx. Now, that floating barrier device that you are seeing in that Rio Grande, those buoys, that's also part of Operation Lone Star. The state of Texas actually spending $1 million to have that installed. Now, the DOJ on the other side is going to make the argument that that barrier is inhumane and actually puts migrant lives in danger when they cross that Rio Grande. But the main argument from the DOJ right now is that Texas installed that floating barrier without the authorization of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, which they say manages the construction of federal public work projects. But sources continue to tell me, Marky, that do not expect Governor Abbott to remove that barrier, that Texas DPS has not gotten an order, and that this will go to court, and Texas expects to fight the DOJ when it comes to this issue.
Yeah, he is not backing down, that is for sure. In addition to the DOJ, Jorge, the Mexican government could also be looking to do the same. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's right. So the Mexican government has been very critical of that floating barrier device. According to the Mexican government, they say that that floating barrier could possibly violate a water treaty between the two countries, a 1944 treaty that they say if that impedes any waterways on that Mexican side of the river, that is going to be an issue for the Mexican government. They say that they will take this Texas to court for that issue. Now, on the other side, Texas saying that does not violate any water treaties, that barrier stays on the Texas side. Now, the Mexican government has responded and said that they will be sending their own inspection team to the Rio Grande to see if it's impeding any of the waterways on the Mexican side. So right now, Texas Governor Greg Abbott could be facing that lawsuit with the DOJ later today after that 1 p.m. Deadline, and also be facing a lawsuit from the Mexican government. President Almo, the Mexican president, has been very critical of Texas Governor Greg Abbott. He has actually urged Americans in the past not to vote for Governor Greg Abbott. So right now, Abbott potentially dealing with 2 lawsuits, one from the DOJ and one from the Mexican government. We will be keeping tabs on what the Mexican government does and when exactly they'll send that inspection team down to the Rio Grande. Marky?
Yeah, we're going to stay on top of this one. Jorge, you have been our eyes and our ears there on the border. Thanks so much.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.